Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final qualifying session of the 2024 Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club GT4 International Championship. 2 points on the line for these drivers here today. Who is going to take the final pole position? The championship very much on the line between Mike Van Doorn and Andy Rees. Who is going to take the title here today? Well, we start off with qualifying as the drivers warm up their tires for the final qualifying session. 15 minutes of qualifying to go here today. We are live here at Sportsland SUGO for the Japanese Grand Prix. And so this is going to be a crucial qualifying. Every point comes down to it. We have seen championships decided this year already from a 3-way tie. And it all comes down to stats. And as we get qualifying underway, our first driver to start qualifying here is going to be the Guyanese of Marlon Young. Let's take a look at his lap here as he starts it off heading into turn 1. Hard on the brakes now, heading into the double right-hander. Little bit of curve on the outside, then you want to just mash the throttle as long as you can throughout this section. You can see and hear Marlon Young lifting as he goes through this section here. A little bit wide now, and as we get into the quick chicane here, you don't want to touch the curbs that are rising. Use all the exit now, heading into the next double right-hander. A bit onto the brakes, not shifting gears. And then this one is a bit more sharp as we get onto the straight. Don't want to go too much out the track because there is track limits. Now on the back straight, Marlon Young accelerating out. Very quick, almost 200, guaranteed 200 kilometers now down the back straight. Now hard onto the brakes. Late apex around here, but there are multiple ways to take the line around that part of the track. And then we get into the first of 2 double left-handers. First one using all the curb on the outside. Second one right the curb on the inside. Use a lot more curb onto the outside. And then it's the final corner, 110R. And it's all about playing with the throttle. The tires get really hot around here, so you have to baby the tires throughout the lap so they can be set up for that final corner. And as now Marlon Young heads on to the front straight, he's gonna set the first time on the board, and that time is going to be a 2:15. So unfortunately not able to get it done. His lap is not valid, so Krogsgaard's gonna take it. 125.202. Andy Rees comes across the line with a 125.578. Next across the line, Martin Webster with a 126.034. And we're watching Van Doorn now as he comes around the final corner. He's match Mads there in the second sector. So now, as he races on to the front straight, crucial 2 points towards his name in this championship fight as we have 11 minutes to go. Here comes the Flying Dutchman across the line now. It's not improvement, it's a second off. He goes down, stays 4th position, and Mads is improving 2/10 in the first sector. Krogsgaard flying around this lap here. And what are we gonna see from him here now? Mads, the Danish driver, one left-hander here, 4/10 up in the middle sector. Now 1 corner to go. How much did you care for your tires throughout the lap? That's going to depend here. Look at the top left of your screen. That's the amount of steering input he's putting in. Here comes the Danish driver of Mads now as he gets onto the front straight. Shallow line as he gets onto it. And now in the Beamer, racing to the line. This is going to be an improvement. It is. It's a 124.598. He's going to hold pole position to himself. And he's not going to let anyone have an opportunity with the weight, with the BOP on the line here. This allows those light drivers to have opportunities they were normally not able to have before. And 8/10 down is Andy Rees as we're on board with the likes of Marlon Young. But 3 purple sectors for Mads there as Van Doren will put up his time, 25.224. So now continuing to improve. Oh, it's oversteer, and he's gonna lose the car.
All the thing is giving no one's in trouble, man.
Is it still giving that handshake?
Yeah, I at first I couldn't when I finished, when I was going to go in qualifying, it wasn't.
So, bit of technical difficulties for Danny Nasir in the pit lane as it stands right now, trying to get out onto the track, but he's having some issues in the pit lane. But as we continue on qualifying here, currently the times are Mads with a 1:24.59.8, followed by Mike Van Doren with a 1:25.224. And as we watch him now, it doesn't look like he's on a flyer here. No, he's not. Andy Rees, as we're on board with him, he is doing a 1:25.423, so just behind in the second row, behind his championship rival, Marlon Young, as he's on the front straight now. He's doing a time of a 1:25.716. Martin Webster in the Supra, currently doing a 1:26.034. And Anderson Baiano in the other BMW on the other side of the leaderboard, currently with a 1:27.857. So as qualifying continues now, we're just about reaching our halfway point into this session here. And still, loads of time to improve. And check this out, Van Doren has found that time. 3/10, in fact, in the first sector. If he can keep this up, that could easily be pole position. He was saying earlier with us that the second sector is really just a long straight, and while he feels he's very quick in the corners, it's the straights that he loses time, and that's proof right there. Almost a 10th slower in the second sector when he gains so much, but there is still 110R to come around now, so we're gonna watch Van Doren here as he takes it wide on corner exit, trying to minimize steering. Now onto the front straight and ready to come across the line. Here comes Mike Van Doren. Was it enough to improve on this time? It's a 1:25 dead. He is 5/10 off here in the third sector, and that is gonna do it for that lap. With Andy Rees now, we're gonna watch him at first sector. He's almost a second off, but here comes Mads now as he comes on to the front straight in the BMW now for this final qualifying session. Can Mads put it on pole? Well, he can improve, that's for sure. It's a 1:24.503. That could very well be pole come the end of this qualifying session out here today. That's very big for the Danish driver in the BMW. Can he secure his first pole position out here? That'll be very, very big for the Danish driver. Of course, one other man in here in the form of Andy Rees trying to hunt down this championship, but as it stands right now, he is not finding any improvements as he comes across the line there. Danny, try to re-download the mods. It's about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It's probably your best bet.
No, I'm getting something else now. I fixed the Wi-Fi, and then the steering stopped working. Okay. And it's nothing to do with the wire thing. It just I don't know why. I just replugged it back in, and then it started up. So I'm booting it in.
So Danny Nasir continuing to have issues in pit, so it doesn't look like he'll be able to make qualifying unless he can get one lap in. As we watch Mads here coming around 110R, he's got a lot of improvements through the last few laps, so that was very good on his part. So now it's all about extending this advantage. He's currently sitting at a 1:24.503. He's matched his time here in the first two sectors as he comes across the line now. He's a 1:24.589, so still dancing around with that personal best. We're going to watch Van Dorn around here as he enters through the chicane and getting up to the first sector. 38.6 to beat, and we're gonna see if this McLaren really does have the legs around here as he goes to the right hand. Look how much speed he takes and so confident on the wheel there. And now here we go, time is running against him. Oh, very wide. That's gonna be a cut track. He's a 10th off, but that is going to ruin his lap time. Going off the circuit, that's a bit of a shame. He found time there too. So confidently faster than Mads in the first sector, but it's the remaining bit of the lap that gives him issue. So, as we continue watching qualifying now, we watch Andy Rees here as he comes around turn 2. And we're going to stay with him here, unless we can see improvements from other drivers on track, which Mads does go green in the first sector, so personal improvement does not improve in the second sector. Nonetheless, though, there is Van Dorn as he comes across the line. 24.5 to beat, and he's 0.6 down. Next up, Mads as he comes around the final corner.
Sorry, connection issue again. I gotta come out and go back in now.
Yep. And here comes Mads across the line. Is it improvement? Yes, it is. It's a 1:24.479. And that pole lap time is just getting further and further away. 0.5 the difference. Andy Rees, 2.25 hundredths of a second off there. 0.2. That is insane. Van Dorn into the pits, making final adjustments to the car. And Andy Rees back out here now. Let's see what he can do with Mads into the pits. Maybe he feels like that was the best time he could do. And Andy Rees still struggling. 1:25.323. And what is going on in the head of Andy Rees out here? What is he thinking about? Can he find any improvement around here? Mads may have found the perfect lap time.
No, on track, I think.
Cool. Andy Rees. We're going to watch his first sector. This could really tell us the story around here. It looked pretty good so far. You can see he doesn't push as much into this section as Van Dorn does, but he does keep a clean little bit of oversteer there on the straight, but 0.4 off. So that Mercedes is struggling through the first sector. The McLarens really got that one down. That is the prime position. That's the prime spot for sure. 1000%. Andy Rees now, as it continues this lap. Well, he may be down in the first sector. Still a chance to get back at Van Dorn. Remember, he needs to gain just a little bit of time. That gap is not that far. It's 0.3 of a second. If he can find any sort of improvement in that Mercedes to put him up in the front row, that will be huge, considering he is 7 points off of Van Dorn coming into this championship finale. Every point is going to matter, and he's a second off there in the final sector there and on the lap itself. So there is Marlon Young, I will say. Martin Webster sitting in the pits, currently sitting P5. Feels like that's the best he could do. Marlon Young abandoning his lap time, and Van Dorn warming up his tires to try to go for one final run. Danny Nasir, though, finally able to get that car fixed up, and like we said early on, he's gonna have one chance at this one here. So one lap to do it around SUGO. This is a make or break. Start in last, or potentially with the other McLaren. I mean, there's a huge chance he could bump up in the top 5. First corner around there, we got to check that for track limits. Did he exceed it? The McLaren's so good in the first couple sectors here. He's in second gear. It's really just one opportunity that Danny Nasir has. Into the double right-handers. This is where we're going to find out. Oh, it's a little bit wide, however. Finally getting some laps under his belt. And he's already a second, almost 2 seconds off And that's only going to put him around where Anderson Baiano is. And his checkered flag now comes out. There we see Van Dorn. So much aggression over the curb. Remember, at the Nurburgring, he was very aggressive through the curbs, and that's what really allowed him, and too much pushing. Track limits already put him off his game there, and he's going to be into the pits meeting Danny Nasir with the last driver. He's the last person on track, so it's all down to see what he can do. Did he exceed track limits on that lap? Maybe or maybe not. We'll find out, because here comes Danny Nasir. Is it enough to get into the top 5 for the start of this race? Flying on the front straight now. We're going to see under the Dunlop sign across the line. No improvement. It's a 27.5 on his first and only lap in qualifying. But Mads is going to take pole position in the final round of the championship. 2 bonus points will go to his name as we head in to the final race. But what a lap time. It was a 24.479. It's pole position by a long margin, almost 5.5 tenths quicker than the competition. All right. Qualifying complete there for the last time in this championship. Top 3, that's Mads, Mike, and Andy. So, only thing you guys have to know about today, it's going to be double points, so everything is worth ×2. So, that qualifying there, it's going to be 2 points for pole position. Remember, fastest lap is also going to be worth 2 points, and yeah, points are going to be multiplied by ×2. So, because normally races are 15 points, it'll be extended now to 30 points. So big chance at that points here today. So best of luck to you guys. Final round. It's been a great journey, a great championship fight. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to see Cody Lawrence here today. But regardless, hope we have a great championship fight. Van Dorn, Andy, you guys are going to be duking it out. Marlon, you're also in that championship fight as being in the top 5. So best of luck to you guys. 47 seconds before we get onto the grid. I've also extended the grid time, so it should be just over 2 minutes. So if you guys have to restart your systems, you're free to do so. You got a bit of time once we get onto the grid.
Andy, it continues.
So Marlon Young, Andy Ruiz are going to have their little mind games with each other. But that's going to do it for qualifying, and we will see you for the race. Thank you so much for tuning into the final qualifying session of the preseason.